What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Benji, and we are back balling. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe.
Man's a chill. Yo, who man's is this? Somebody come get us.
There's been a lot of discourse right now on Twitter and social media when it comes down to the 80s and 90s era, and that they may be overrated because a lot of people obviously has been attacking. The age-old conversation has been, man, if so-and-so would have played back in the day, the new ball is this, the old ball was this. A lot of people are exposing the 80s. I already told y'all my opinion. You know what I mean? So we're going to get straight to it, man. Let's check it out.
On my
See what you
For You
got to say.
page of a guy who breaks down old games from the 80s and 90s. He hates them. He says they're bad basketball. And in the most recent game that he broke down, he called Michael Jordan the right-hand bandit. He said he could not go left. And then yesterday, a different creator, he's on this account, Esquire Sports, it's pretty cool. He made his own video about the poor quality of basketball in the 1990s. And I've been finding all this really interesting because from what I've seen on TikTok, these games actually do look pretty bad. It does look like MJ can't go left. And the deeper I dug, the more this became apparent. Isaiah Thomas has been quoted saying that the game plan for MJ in his early years was send him left. But some people call Isaiah Thomas a hater. Well, the Jet Smith said it too.
I was about to say, there's been multiple people that said Michael Jordan couldn't dribble. And watching the highlight, you could
George Gervin revealed that it took a while before Jordan became a consistent scorer with his left, and I think that's kind of wild, so I decided to...
I don't think that we can use all this to discredit Jordan, though, because at the end of the day, I still think you put Michael Jordan as he was in today's NBA, and he still averages near 40 points a game. So I don't... So then if you add for the skill improvement and development over the time, then I think Jordan averages, like over 40 points a game with the same amount of... green light that he had. I mean, if you include the kind of power he had over the league, bro, he's averaging over 40 points a game. So I don't think we want to use this to simply exclude Michael Jordan, because I think it was obvious that Michael Jordan was not a ball handler when a lot of his points scored were two dribble shots.
To do what very few people do when it comes to MJ discourse, I went back and watched one of his games. Not just that, I charted it too. I chose game 1 of the 91 finals.
Sure.
It's on YouTube, and it's a good MJ game. 36 points, 14 of 24 from the field. I wanted to see how he got those points. Specifically when he dribbled, so catch and shoot is not here. Alright, so the dots that I'm going to put on the screen, they indicate how a possession ended. Blue means it ended in a pass. Red is a miss. Green is a make. Orange is a turnover. The arrows indicate which hand somebody is dribbling with. Yellow arrows are their right hand. Left hand is going to be...
So we're looking for pink arrows.
Purple. I'm about to show the
Pointless.
chart one half at a time, so get ready. Drum roll, please. Okay, so this is the right side. I didn't put jump shots here. This is any time Jordan dribbled twice or more. That's a lot of right-handed dribbling, but it's the right side of the court. We'll cut him some slack. Only 5 lefty possessions, all going left, 4 passes and a miss. Left side will probably be better, right, guys? I think the allegations might be true. That's a lot of yellow, dude. On the left side of the court, that's a lot. It's hard to make sense of what you're looking at, so I wrote it out too. Keep in mind, this is just some random game. Maybe it's not super representative, but Jordan touched the ball a lot in this one. So with his right hand, he was 7 of 12 from the field. He made 13 passes, and he had 1 turnover. With his left hand, he was 0 of 2. He passed the ball 6 times. He had 3 turnovers and a loose ball. I broke down sides of the court as well. On the left side of the court, where you should use your left hand, he was 66% right hand with 6 lefty dots total, and 3 of those dots were turnovers. None were shots. On the right side, he was 13 dots out of 18 with his right hand. He had 5 lefty dots. They were all passes except for 1 miss. It's hard to talk about this without sounding like I'm agenda spreading, but Jordan was just not good with his left in this game. Look, drive in with the right, switch to the left, lose the ball. He made 5 shots on the left side. They were all after right hand dribbling. Right here above my head, he started dribbling left. He realized he couldn't control it. He switched back to his right and made a shot. Down here, he tried to go left and switched back. I noticed that a lot this game. Now you might be saying, well, how is his stat line so good? If he didn't have a left hand in this era, wouldn't it have shown? Wouldn't he have been a bad...
There's a clip of Boris Diaw saying he doesn't think that he shot a left-handed shot over the course of his career. I don't think you need both hands. Now, obviously, the more that you develop that, the better you become as a player. But that just all it does is allude to Michael Jordan's dominance. Because if you're trying to say that he didn't put the ball in his left hand and he was still so dominant, I mean, I don't think this proves much.
Basketball player? And I think that's an interesting question, but I do kind of have an answer. It's something that Jason Williams touched on before. See, as Williams, a former point guard, pointed out, back then the defense was different. For decades, the NBA required teams to have man-to-man defense across the board. You could send a hard double, but you couldn't have guys hanging off of their man. That was an illegal defense. And so what would happen is, like this Reddit post says, for teams like the Bulls that had one guy who could get buckets, they would leave him in isolation on one side of the court and let him go to work. So regardless if he used his right or left hand, he had one guy on him. And if he's quicker, he's going to blow by him. These are Williams' words too. It was just him and the primary defender on the wing. Nowadays though, if somebody struggled like this with their left, you could see a bit of a softer double team, forcing the player in one direction, maybe a bit more than you would back then if I'm being honest. This is not intended to be an MJ hit piece, but if I'm being real, I don't think a player would get away with dribbling with their right hand this frequently in a game now. I just don't. The rules are different and the rules would not favor this. Back then, the rules favored quick wings and one-on-one iso ball. That's what MJ had. There's a lot more going on now, and I do think this chart speaks to some of that, how the game was different back then. It really was.
Again, I don't think this alludes to the game being different. I just think this alludes to just Michael Jordan just not using his left hand in the 1991 finals. But like I said, if you couldn't stop him, knowing that he was going to get the ball every time, knowing that he was going to get the volume and vast majority of the shot opportunities, knowing that he was going to go right, knowing that his favorite spot was the right wing, and you still couldn't stop him, that doesn't do anything but allude to Michael Jordan's dominance. Hey, look, and I'm trying to be on your side because I discredit everybody that played before the 90s, other than Will Chamberlain, really. So, I don't think this does anything but speak to the greatness and lore that was Michael Jordan. If y'all knew what I was going to do, you knew I was going to get the ball every time and knew I couldn't go left, and I was still killing y'all. I mean, yes, and like I said, the only thing we can talk about the difference is like legal defense, but you still had someone that could sit out of the basket. So, you know, it's like one hand, you have this argument, and on the other hand, you have this argument. So I don't think it does much. What do y'all think?